Hey everybody, First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. Quick update on the severe weather tomorrow. If you're wondering why I'm not at my home office, I'm actually down in Charleston, South Carolina. Tried to get a quick couple days in with the family on spring break, so we're doing kind of a remote version of our vlog this morning. And I wanted to give you an update on the severe weather we've been tracking since really last weekend. We started talking about, oh man, potential next week, and here we are. It's next week. So let's go and show you the overall view right now, and I'll show you real quickly what's going on. You can see our storm system back to the west. Temperatures over the Carolinas in the 60s and 70s. The big difference today is you're going to notice dew points have surged into the upper 50s and low 60s. So we're starting to moisten up the atmosphere, and we're starting to see some strong south and southwest winds develop. So we're starting to see the kind of ingredients come together for some thunderstorms. But today, the threat's going to be just to our west. So if you look in this area, this is where our threat's going to be today, even though we're starting to see the moisture in. We're going to have a gorgeous day here in the Carolinas again today. Very warm, very breezy. Should be pretty spectacular. So let me show you real quickly the severe weather threat today. I'm going to zoom in here real quickly. So I'm grabbing my screen here. You can see the severe weather threat today. Let me center that for you. You can see the highest risk is down along the Gulf Coast and up into the mid-south, pretty much Dixie Alley. And there could be some tornadoes today, but the big deal with this system, even though tornadoes are a threat and a serious threat, there is a lot of wind energy. So I'm very confident we're going to see a lot of strong winds with this system. And you'll notice those winds picking up even outside of thunderstorms over the next 24 to 36 hours here as we get into tomorrow. This threat shifts over us tomorrow. So there's a look at our threat tomorrow. And you can see most of our areas in the medium to high threat. There's still a big emphasis on the eastern parts of the state because the timing of this right now really coincides with max heating just to our east. But areas right here, it's going to be a very close call because I expect this line of showers and storms to be moving through middle of the day, and because that's kind of close to morning but also close to peak heating, there's some uncertainty, and I'll show you more of that coming up in a minute on what I think. But I want to get the specific graphics out there. So our main threat today, just to show you, Friday, excuse me, not today, for Friday, is damaging winds. And I'll show you why, and I'm really going to emphasize the damaging wind threat. Now, the one thing I will tell you, the tornado threat could be much higher. This is where the biggest question marks are, right in here, and I would say even hail, because if we get some heating and some instability to surge in here and we get more supercellular type storms instead of a squall line, the hail and tornado threat could certainly go up in the next 24 hours. Here's a look at that timing. I'm going to zoom this in for you. You can see it very carefully. I love this graphic because it really kind of shows you. Now, I try to be very vague with the timing. I get a lot of questions about specific times. The reason is there could be a couple waves or slowdown or speeding up the system. So I kind of give some buffer there. But the main timeline with this, unlike the one on Sunday being a late day and evening threat, this really looks to be a middle of the day type starting and probably into the evening. So not as skewed towards the evening as much as last week. And if anything, there's a small chance the morning could be pretty active, especially for the mountains. If it slows down, then we certainly could see it shift this way. So you got to remember, there's a time shift. If it slows down, it moves that way. If it speeds up, it goes that way. And small changes in speed multiplied by 12 or 24 hours from now could have a big impact on what we're going to see. So let's go back to here, and I'm going to show you some of the data here real quickly just to show you what I think is going to happen. We'll show you the future cast and all that. Let's go right to the model data real quickly, and I kind of fast forwarded real fast here, too fast. So let me rewind this a little bit. So here's a look at our system moving into the mid-south today, and then we'll go through tonight and into early tomorrow. Watch the system unfold overnight. You can see maybe some scattered showers developing here, but look at that squall line. We're starting to see more of a squall line or a big line of storms developing overnight. And a couple things in that setup. You can still get embedded tornadoes in that setup, but this definitely screams more straight line wind. Organized squall lines tend to have very strong winds, especially when you consider the amount of wind energy with this system. So let's go early tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. The models are indicating and the guidance that we could see some pop-up storms ahead of this. That's something to watch, but that's eastern North Carolina. But you can see the timing. And if I switch between different guidance here, the timing is very similar. So that's our super short range stuff. Let me back this up. It has it right there. And then this is our, so you can see both these guidance shows the lineup of that kind of in the same location. So we're pretty good on some agreement on the timing, at least right now. As we go towards 8 a.m., that's where it is right there. 9, 10, 11 a.m. So we'll go to 11 a.m. and you can see this squall line. Now, it definitely looks more severe to our south, which could rob some of the energy north. That's always a possibility, though I don't think it's going to matter a whole lot when I start looking at the amount of wind energy with this system. We'll go towards lunchtime, which is right about there, and then we'll go towards 2 p.m. So 2 p.m., the squall line is just entering the Piedmont, so middle of the day. Now, just slowing down an hour or two gives much more heating and more instability for this system to deal with as it crosses over. We'll go into the afternoon. This is 3 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock right now looks to be I-77 corridor. So right there in the middle of the Piedmont at 4 o'clock, 5, 6, and the weather will improve dramatically behind it. There will be some lingering scattered showers, but the main threat is going to be with this first line. So we'll see a rapid drop-off in the severe weather likely as this first batch moves into the eastern part of the state. Now let me back this up a little bit and kind of show you the wider view, because there's some things going on in the wider view that are important. What's going on to our south is very key. There could be lines of severe storms down there that could have an impact. And also, one of the things I look at quite a bit for tornado parameters is that updraft helicity, basically rotating storms. So if I go in closer here, I'll show you this thing moving in. This is where the model at least thinks there's going to be rotating thunderstorms. And you can see them moving up and then crossing over the Charlotte area right around 4 o'clock. Again, they don't look like individual cells, but there could be an embedded rotation in there. And at the very least, there's some very strong wind shear coming through with this thing. And you can see it moving to the eastern part of the state. Now, there's some conflicting data on that, because I'm going to show you the Storm Prediction Center's updraft helicities. And you can see how they're maximized today over Mississippi and Alabama. Watch what happens as the line approaches the Carolinas tomorrow. This is in the morning hours, and then I'll go to about noontime. So look at all the rotating updrafts down in Georgia and Florida, and only a couple isolated ones up in the Carolinas. So that's why there's some conflicting information on how much of this is going to rotate, because if this southern section takes over, there might be fewer rotating storms to the north. And then notice how there's an uptick in the rotational updrafts in eastern North Carolina by evening. So you could see the parameters increasing in eastern North Carolina. So if you're not familiar with this product, this is basically the guidance telling me where we think we're going to see rotating updrafts, which is a sign of rotating thunderstorms, which obviously means tornadoes, but also very severe weather. So you tend to look at this quite a bit. And just to show you, this is actually what the Storm Prediction Center uses for their outlooks. If I look at the day 1 and 2, you can see I have the tornado probabilities turned on for today. Let me turn that off. I'll back this up. You can see where the outlooks come from. They come from the highlights of where we see the biggest severe. And if I go to tomorrow, you can see why we have the severe weather outlook to the east. So just a couple indications of what we might see as this moves through. So again, something to keep an eye on with this system is the potential for damaging winds because of all of the straight line wind threats associated with the strong winds in the atmosphere. Very strong jet stream, very strong mid-level winds, and very strong low-level winds. They're all going to be over top of us tomorrow. So I think regardless of what kind of thunderstorms we get, we're going to see damaging winds even outside of thunderstorms. So tomorrow is one of those days. Please be weather aware. The good news for the weekend is this will clear in and out very quickly, and we will have cooler and drier conditions for the weekend, though there could be a few showers on Saturday. The chance is pretty small, but it will clear out for Easter weekend. But for Good Friday, we're looking at some big-time storms. So please be weather aware tomorrow. I am currently in Charleston, but I'll be posting updates throughout the next 24 hours. Aisha, Chris, and Larry have got you covered as well. We'll get you through this as we go through the afternoon tomorrow.